Hey guys, Jeff here with Mitsubishi Electric Cooling and Heating. Thanks for joining us in this episode of Tech Tips. Today, we're going to be going over the basic startup of an AE200 central controller. The first step I like to take in starting up the AE200 is confirming our power source or our wiring. The AE200 comes factory default to provide power to the system's MNet, or the TB7. If we wanted to use a separate power source for the TB7 MNet, we would have to remove the CN21 connector on the back of the AE200. Once we've got the wiring and the power source figured out, it's time to power up the AE200. Keep in mind, the City Multi equipment needs to be started up and operational before we start up the centralized controller. When you first power up the AE200, it's going to go through a boot up process. This process can last for up to several minutes. Once done, you'll now be on what I like to call the home screen. The next step I take is to enter into the initial settings mode, which is the wrench icon located at the top right. The username is initial and the password is init, I-N-I-T. At this time, the controller is connected to the equipment but doesn't know what to control or even what to look for. In order to accomplish this, we have to set up our groups. I think of groups as registering the indoor units into the central controller. You have plenty of choices on how to set up your groups, but today we'll be doing one indoor unit per one group. From the main screen, under the initial settings, we'll go over and hit the arrow to the right until we see groups. This is where we'll input each indoor unit into the group. So, for example, I'm taking group 10 and I'm going to select a unit. I'm going to give this MNet address 10. If you have a smart ME or a secondary centralized controller, you can assign it to this group at this time. Here, you can also give this group a name. Once all of your indoor units are set up into groups, you can go ahead and hit Save Settings. Once you've finished with the groups, you can set up preferences on how you would like the controller to operate. All of these settings can be made in the sub-menu of Initial Settings. Here, you can set up date and time. You can also go to Unit Info and select temperature measurements, language, if you want it in PSI or kilopascals. You can also set up your network. So, if you wanted to change the IP address for your building, here's where you would do the IP address. Once done, go ahead and press Save Settings. To exit the initial startup, press the top right home screen. And here we are, back on the home screen. We hope that this walkthrough will be able to assist you in starting up the AE200 controller. For further information, please refer to the service manuals found at www.mylinkdrive.com.